Hey, shalom, shalom. All right, before I get started with this lesson, I just want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and salutations unto the elect. All right, now, in this lesson, I just want to get into this short, all right, off of Instagram. All right, and as you can see in the context, the context of the video, it reads, furious husband runs over wife's lover as she watches in horror of the event. And this, basically a case of no adultery, and the husband, basically enraged, out of well, we're gonna get into the scriptures after this video. Let's get into the video now. Before I get into the video, I just want to make a quick disclaimer that this video may be graphic, for those who may be watching. So just a quick disclaimer out there. So let's get into it. All right, and there you have it. The wife, all right, of the husband, which I presume the wife to be the one, in the white, that was running back and forth, screaming, hipping, jumping and hollering and stuff. But it's her fault, it's her fault. But the man, all right, the husband, basically in a fit of rage ran over, all right, the man that was committing adultery, and that was, basically committing adultery with his wife. You see, in the adulterer and the adulteress, they're both at fault. You see, and according to the scriptures, they should be put to death. So this man here that's running over this individual, he's justified. He's justified, man. All right, according to the scriptures. But this society will have you believe that, the guy that ran over him, he's in the wrong and he should just let it go. No, man. No. But we're going to get into the scriptures, man. All right. So this is Proverbs 6, all right, and 32. It says, but whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. And we know that adultery, all right, is when basically when another man lies down with a married woman. You lying down with another man's wife. All right. And the same thing go with the con. All right. So it says, but whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. Right. And not also does the man lack understanding. He lacks fear, all right, of the Heavenly Father. Now, I don't know what the case may be. He may have known, all right, that she was he may have known that she was married, or the wife was probably being deceptive and said, I don't have a husband. However it may go. That's why it's best to stay away, all right, from these women, because they lie. The wicked woman is. Well, in fact, we're gonna get Ecclesiastes real quick. It's best to, stay away from these, as Apostle Torah always say, these hyenas, man, because they'll lie, cheat, and steal, all right, to get what they want. Matter of fact, let's get Ecclesiastes 7 and verse 26. It says, and I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth the Most High shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. Right, men have died, all right, over women, man. Matter of fact, we get this in NLT. It says, I discovered that a seductive woman is a trap more bitter than death. Her passion is a snare, and her soft hands are chains. Those who are pleasing the Most High will escape her, but sinners will be caught in her snare, man. So basically, a seductive woman is a snare, all right, a trap, man. And in this case, this man, he was caught in that trap. I don't know the case. He may have known that she was, he may have known that she was with a husband or not. But I'm, just saying is just in case, the woman, all right, probably lied and said, I didn't have a husband. He thought it was all cool. But in reality, she did have a husband. And her husband found out about it and then did this, But let's go back to Proverbs. All right, 6. verse 32, it says, but whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that destroyeth it destroyeth his own soul. And I mentioned, not only does he lack understanding, but he lacks fear. How do you get wisdom? What is the beginning of wisdom? All right, the fear of the Heavenly Father. That's where, all right, the beginning of wisdom. That's the beginning of wisdom, man. Fearing the Heavenly Father, man. And if you commit adultery, you surely don't fear the Heavenly Father, man, because adultery is a grave offense. All right, something that is not to be taken lightly. Sleeping with another man's wife. All right, verse 33, it says, a wound and a dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. Verse 34, for jealousy is the rage of a man. Right, the husband he was jealous. See, that was his wife, someone that he has built with, probably built a family with, spent all types of money on her, laid down with her, what I should say, just say it plainly, had sex with her. All these things. Then the husband probably put all his time, effort, and money into this woman. All right, and then all of a sudden the woman go behind his back, all right, and go to another dude. See, that's gonna make a man jealous, man. And this is righteous jealousy. You see, just like the Heavenly Father was jealous over his people, Israel. You see, this is a righteous jealousy, man. It says, for jealousy is the rage of a man. Right, it made this man, all right, the man in the car or the truck, very rageful, all right, angry, man. It says, therefore, he will not spare in the day of vengeance, man. So this guy here, he didn't spare him at all. He ran over him good 3-4 times, man. He did not spare this guy because he was in that rage, man. He was jealous over his wife. You see? But he's justified, man. He is justified. Matter of fact, let's get the punishment, all right, for committing adultery, man. This man is justified, but you have this society. They'll say this guy, he shouldn't have did that. He should just let it go, move on. No, man. No. According to the scriptures, the man and the woman are supposed to be put to death, man. Ultimately, the woman, because she knew she was married, she knew she wasn't supposed to be getting with that man. Man and woman supposed to be put to death. All right, let's get Leviticus 20. And again, I don't know the situation, whether the woman lied and said that she didn't have a husband, or maybe the man did know. Jake be wicked, man. Jake will know that a woman has a husband but still go after her. What would Jake say? Look, the woman would probably say, look, I got a husband. And then Jake would probably be like, oh, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Just wicked shit like that, man. You see, and that statement it shows a lack of fear. So let's get Leviticus 20 and verse 10. You see. All right. It says, and the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. You see, so this is the punishment. Both the man and the woman that committed adultery should be put to death, man. This is according to the scriptures. But in this society, it's not pushed. You see, Esau, Edom, he'll pose as this, this country. Well, I should say America, all right, will pose as this country that's a God-fearing country. But in reality, you look at America's actions, they don't really exalt the Heavenly Father. You see, they don't care nothing about the word of the Heavenly Father. You see, matter of fact, let's get Psalms 50. All right. This is the law that I read here. All right. The law that I read in Leviticus, all right, 20, that's the law of the land. All the laws are and commandments written in these scriptures. Really, it should be the law of the land, man. And this man, Esau, he poses himself as some type of, this country is God-fearing. In reality, he doesn't do anything that the Heavenly Father says. You see, if he did, he would seek to put, all right, the commandments, laws, statutes, commandments, all right, within it. He would push the laws, statutes, commandments here in America. You see, but he doesn't care about the Heavenly Father. Matter of fact, we'll get it. We'll just get it. Let's stop talking. In Psalms 50 and verse 16, it says, but unto the wicked, the Most High says, right, the wicked, who? Esau, Edom. All right, Esau, Edom is the wicked, the borderness of wickedness, as it says in Malachi 1 and 4. Meaning wherever Esau, Edom is, there, all right, will wickedness be. But it says, unto the wicked, the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Right. Seeing that thou hateth instruction and casteth my words behind him. Let's get it in the NLT. Psalms 50 and 16, it says, but the Most High says to the wicked, why bother reciting my decrees and pretending to obey my covenant? Right, we're God-fearing people. We're Donald Trump, we're going to make America religious again. We're going to make America God-fearing again. And then his followers, are eating that shit up. When really, man, Donald Trump don't care about no laws and the statutes and commandments of the Heavenly Father. He don't care about that. Verse 17, KJV, it says, seeing thou hatest instruction. Esau don't care about the instructions out of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. It says, and casteth my words behind you. Right. So this devil, he lightly esteems the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai and seeks to put in his own laws. You see, a law like this in Leviticus is not being pushed in this place, man. In fact, it's promoted in this place. You see, definitely amongst our people, the Israelites, it's promoted amongst us through the music. All right. What would Jake say in the music? I'm not even gonna say. I'm not even gonna quote the verse, but yeah, it's definitely promoted. In the so-called black culture. Adultery, man. You see, but this is a result of the law, statute, commandments of the Heavenly Father not being pushed here, man. See, that's why this man is going to be taken out of place. The ruler thereof, which is Esau, Edom, is going to be taken out of place, man. And he's going to set up one that is profitable, which is the Israelites, starting with Yahweh Shai. When Yahweh Shai come back and establish the kingdom of heaven on earth, with the elect, amongst the nation of Israel, look, it's going to be the laws, statutes, commandments are going to be pushed here heavily. You see, the laws, statutes, commandments is going to go through all throughout the earth, man. This is going to be a place of righteousness. You see, but with this wicked, the Esau, Edom being in rule, hey, this place is, controlled in wickedness. No, this whole place, earth, is endowed, with wickedness, man. Mainly because what? The laws, statutes, commandments are not being pushed here. You see, and the wicked, he don't care about the laws, statutes, commandments, as we just read here. But that was pretty much it. That's all I had to say. This is he's justified for doing this, man. According to the scriptures. This man was jealous. He found out his when he found out his wife, had another lover, probably having sex. You see, it made him mad. It made him jealous, and he was in a rage. You see, and he sought to put the man to death, as it's supposed to, as the law says. They're supposed to be put to death. But that was pretty much it, man. That's why Apostle Tahar said, man, hey, don't be fooling around with these hyenas, man. Stay away from the nigger woman. Because they'll lie, cheat, and steal to get whatever they want. And I don't know the case. She may have lied. I'm just, how should I say it? I'm just, speculating that she may have lied, and said I don't have a husband. I'm single. And then the dude probably thought it was all cool until, hey, he had a face full of metal in his mouth. A whole truck in his face. That's why I read it in Ecclesiastes 7, man. Hey, the woman is basically a trap. It's a snare. A seductive woman is a trap and a snare, man. You see, but if you please the Heavenly Father, you're gonna escape her, man. But the sinner, hey, you ain't gonna escape her, man. So ultimately, it was this man's judgment. Getting run over by this truck, it was his judgment. By the Heavenly Father. But that was pretty much it, man. Hopefully, this lesson was edifying to those that have the spiritual eyes to see and the spiritual ears to hear, and that ultimately goes back unto the elect, amongst the nation of Israel. But with that, I just want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and salutations unto the elect. Shalom.